AI is like a crappy intern. Like it is not a replacement for anything.
AI, are we unemployed yet?
Yes, we are.
You gotta have a solid foundation to build on. The only thing is that it's a little too comfortable for me, and that comfort creates lazy architecture.
I hope we didn't get canceled.
Hello and welcome. My name is Shri, and today with me is my co-host Cam. Today is our first episode of Compile After Class, a tech podcast where we build after the bell.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to our podcast. We've been planning this for a little while, but I'm excited that we can finally start working on it.
Yeah, we've definitely been talking about this idea for a while, and we've had a lot of conversations about tech and stuff, but we never actually showed it to other people, and I guess now we can.
Yeah, and after we finish with the conversations, they all just disappear.
Yeah, and now they're on the internet, which I don't know if that's better or worse. But yeah, the best part about this podcast is that me and Cam aren't experts. We're not founders. We're not big time CEOs or engineers. We're just kids that are very interested in tech and programming and have taken an interest in sharing our knowledge with other people, which is why we started Compile After Class.
Well, actually, I think you're forgetting about all 5 startups that I created.
Oh yeah, you have like 5 startups and you haven't committed anything to any of
Yes,
their
yes,
repos.
yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about how me and Cam got into building stuff and if AI is replacing programmers. It's a whole wide variety of things just to introduce you to us and to our podcast. And in later episodes, we will go in depth on specific topics. I didn't start coding because I loved to code. I had people that knew how to code. I admired them, but that wasn't the reason I started. I started because I was honestly just annoyed.
Annoyed at what?
Well, I mean, I always had really good ideas, but I would never be able to turn them into actual things, if that makes sense. And if we're being honest, at least for me, I don't know about you, it's the worst feeling ever to have an idea and not be able to actually turn it into something.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's definitely a blessing to be able to turn your skills into real products.
Yeah, and I think what motivated me is that I'm thinking of these ideas, and then I'm realizing that I want to code them, but then I realize that I don't know how to code them, and skill was the main thing stopping me, and that's what motivated me to learn how to code. Because if skill is what's stopping me, I know skill is something that I can control, and I always tell myself, figure out what you can control it, and the rest, just forget about it. You can't control it, it's not up to you.
Well, what an amazing quote. I actually really like that quote. All it takes is hours, am I right?
Yeah, hours and hours of just motivating yourself and locking in and getting all the work you can done. Because if you get the hard work done early, it's really easy to move on and make bigger projects later on.
For
What was the
sure.
first thing you built without a tutorial, doing what you imagined?
Um, Honestly, probably my first neural network that tried to guess what the next number was. It's nothing complicated, really.
Building a neural network with no tutorial, that's because he built up to that with so much progress and work put in from other tutorials and just learning the foundations. That goes for anything, not just programming, not just tech. If you can build yourself a solid foundation and learn everything, it's really easy to build up from there and just grow everything. And honestly, that's the best kind of app where you build something from with some help from other people, but with your own imagination, and it barely gets the job done, but technically actually works. Um, yeah, it's something.
Yeah. You know what? That's exactly how I see this podcast. For now, it's just us sitting in a Discord call.
Yeah, and I think the turning point for everyone is when our code breaks and there's no actual tutorial for how to fix that. I distinctly remember I got humiliated and humored really bad by YouTube, but I was the first thing I ever tried to code was a basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript website, and all I got then was HTML. And I made 2 opening tags. I didn't know there was a Visual Studio Code extension for automatic closing tag, and I made 2 opening tags, and it was a long error that I got printed out in that console. I copied that up and put it into YouTube. I literally copied the exact error message, put it into YouTube, and said how to fix this error. And it said no search results found. Try to refine your search. And that's when I realized I suck at coding. So I went. That was because I just started right away without like trying anything else, without building that solid foundation. So I went back to YouTube, learned the basics of HTML and CSS, and I figured out what I need to do in order to grow my knowledge of web development so I can get to those higher level projects later on.
Yeah. Um, Starting out at the beginning is really rough. As you know, as you've experienced, as
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
experienced. I think a lot of people have experienced that. And really, the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
so I like to, yeah, I
That's
just like to put that out there.
yeah, that's when I realized that debugging teaches more than building because you're building something, you're gonna come up with errors. Building it obviously didn't go right because you got the error. When you learn to debug that, you're learning how to build better next time. So debugging is the foundation for building and shipping.
Yeah, fixing your mistakes is one of the best ways to learn sometimes.
Yeah, that's might sound cliche, but you learn from your mistakes. All right, the heaviest topic yet. I made a YouTube video on this on my channel. Check that out. All right, AI. Are we unemployed yet? Cam?
Reading the Twitter, yes, we are.
Yeah, I think people confuse AI can generate code with AI can build products. So, if I was to elaborate on that, people think that AI can build full production ready products and ship it to the market and everything. Maybe at some point, but honestly, son, we're not at that stage yet, right? What we do now is AI can write the code first. There are no code tools, which aren't horrible. I mean, yes, you should still be able to review the code and know the language, so you can code yourself too, but after the code is done, that's honestly the easiest part. Getting from code to the ship product is the hardest part. Reviewing the code, making sure it works, marketing it, getting it to the right people. I could keep going on and on in this drony voice, and that's just the harsh truth, right? AI is gonna replace some jobs for like you gotta be able to use AI to code rather than letting AI code for you, right? Letting AI ship for you is not the way to go.
Yeah, AI is like a crappy intern. Like it is not a replacement for anything. And sometimes that's why knowing what you're doing can help you actually understand where it goes wrong and why it's going wrong. Sometimes it feels like trying to get the AI to do what you want is more difficult than learning how to do it yourself.
Yeah. If I was to put that into coding terms for those coding nerds out there, just kidding. Oops, hypocrite over here. But making the function, actually writing the code for the function, that isn't the hard part, right? Making the function do what you want, that's where it gets complicated. Because if you wanted, AI can write that function for you, but not gonna it's probably gonna forget to write the async in JavaScript, or it's not gonna put a semicolon there, or something's gonna go wrong, and it's not gonna do what you want it to do, and that's your job. And people think that, like, when I ask people, is AI gonna replace software engineering jobs? There's two sides, right? Obviously, there's yes and there's no. The yes sides are just wrong, honestly, in my opinion. The no side, that can be broken up further down. Some people say that you have to learn how to review the code and ship it. Other people who say that AI isn't going to replace software engineering jobs, their side of it is that you still have to be able to know how to work with AI in terms of prompt engineering and all of that. Like you got to be able to actually code it, review it, and ship it yourself. If Cam agrees with that.
Yeah, I agree. AI, it doesn't get a lot right. It knows how to do things that you
Yeah.
don't know how to do really well, but sometimes the most difficult part of being with an AI is knowing where it went wrong to try and fix it yourself instead of it trying to fix it and then it making 10 more mistakes when it tries to correct its last one.
Yeah. I remember Cam, you called it this once. Autocomplete on steroids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. That sums it up pretty well in my opinion. It's literally just a coding bot that doesn't know how to do anything else other than code, right? You can't get it from that first stage out to an actual consumer or customer.
And sometimes it doesn't even know what's best for the code itself.
Yeah, it speeds you up, but it does not think for you. We need to get this straight. AI can code for you, but it doesn't have a properly working brain.
But
It doesn't actually consciously think for you because when you're writing neural networks, you're writing the code for its brain. It doesn't think about that code. You are thinking for the AI, which in some cases can be more exhaustive than you just writing the code yourself. I think Cam said that once.
hmm yeah. So yeah, just remember that this knowing the fundamentals is super important so that you can understand and correct the AI where it goes wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Going back to that foundation part, like Cam just talked about too, you gotta have a solid foundation to build on so you can get to the point where you can code using AI and still be able to review the code, fix it, change it, and ship it out to people. Because like at this point, everyone has access to AI generated code. That generation code is just like out there. Everyone has access to the LLM models, Cursor, Claude, Anti Gravity, Trey. Right? People have all this access to all these wonderful tools. Generous free tiers. Right? They try to find the best parts out of all of them. But the difference isn't about who can code or who can use the tools. It's about who can actually reason about it and understand what the code is trying to say, not what the code is doing. A challenge that I like to give people who use AI tools is that tell the AI to write the code without any comments. Then go in and comment the code and make sure it's very clear about what each line of code or each segment of code does. And if you can do that for me, I'll agree with you that you're the right person for AI tools. But if you can't do that, it's not for you.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, you don't want a generation of vibe coders, or else that's literally how the AI like taking over the world starts. Even though that's completely fiction, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's humans relying on AI is where everything goes wrong. Yeah.
Okay, this is something that we're going to do at the end of every episode or near the end of every episode just to bring us all back together and get some like for back and forth conversation going. So, quick takes. This is where you keep it short. I give you a word and you just give me a phrase or something about that, okay? All right, here we go. First word, Python.
Love it.
Perfect, me too. The only thing is that it's a little too comfortable for me, and that comfort creates lazy architecture in terms of like you not being too comfortable in the actual language. All right, I forgot to see quick takes. Let's hop right back into it. Um,
Yeah.
CS degree, computer science.
Uh, it's helpful but not mandatory.
Yeah, if you can build, that speaks for itself. Degrees don't really matter at that point. Don't get me wrong; they definitely do matter. Don't drop out of college. If you drop out of college, it's not our fault. Parents don't get mad at us. All right.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No code tools.
Valid.
That is a lesson for the other day, guys. Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess if it works, it works, but people arguing about different tools, it's a little weird. No code tools, yeah, I mean, balance take. There's two different sides to the argument that I really don't want to get into right now.
It takes for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Cam, what are you working on right now? What's like a project you're working on?
Yeah, so I almost had it finished the other weekend. It was no errors. It was almost all working, and it wouldn't train. Like the error was different every time, but it would not go down.
Like you built it, but it wouldn't like work.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a neural network that learns to play a simulated game of. I don't want to get copyright striked, but there's a famous five-letter game out there. It learned how to. I don't know if that's how copyright strikes work, but it tried to learn how to play that game, and it picks a word from a dictionary, and then the game like judges that word, and it uses feedback to try and train itself. I almost had everything working, but like I said, the loss did not go down, so I almost finished that. So give it a couple weekends and I'll
Yeah.
be done.
So like Cam's a great example there. Coming up with the idea is probably the easiest part. Actually building and coming up with the full architecture and figuring going back to the debugging part, figuring out the errors, that's what makes you a better software engineer.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. My latest project is something called Ignis. So, Ignis is the Latin word for ignite. The leading cause of house fires worldwide is leaving the stove on. People just leave the stove on, forget about it, leave home or go somewhere else. It's not their fault. Humans have grown to become a very forgetful species, if that makes sense. Thank you, biology. But yeah, so what I decided to make is a sleeve that's universal. It uses TPU, so it's a rubber that you can stretch and compress any stove knob. And essentially, what it does is it comes with a companion app, and you can control your stove from your phone. For example, if you went to your phone and started a cooking session and said, I'm going to be cooking for 30 minutes, once that stove knob gets ignited and that timer starts, after that 30 minutes is over, it'll automatically turn the knob back to off to stop you from overburning your food or causing a light fire. It shows
Eh,
the status of the knob. It if it's currently on, it lets you turn it off, or if it's currently on, because it's you can't actually push to ignite it. So once it's already ignited and it's on, you are able to from the app change the flame level from like low, medium, high, however you want. You can calibrate it and personalize it to your specific knob, your actual stub knob, and that's a really cool feature I think to have, and also this manual turn off. And you can also turn on auto shut off, which it's like universal. There has to be no session going on, but if the app senses that the knob is on, for how you can set this time. For example, if I set the auto shut off time at 20 minutes, and the app senses that the stove knob is on for 20 minutes, it'll auto turn off.
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of questions. So, one, how did you think up this idea?
See, that's the easiest part. I honestly, good ideas come not from inspiration and motivation, but from real world problems that need solving, right? So I'm not saying I just looked on my computer's real world problems that need solving and ooh, house fires, I should solve
That's what
that.
I would do.
No, so I realized that honestly the idea didn't come from house fires, it came from the fact that people were constantly overburning food because they were leaving the stove on and were doing other jobs on the side. They weren't like focused on the kitchen. To other people that I know, like from those ideas, it happened to me first a couple times. Then I went out and asked other people. I figured out it's a real problem. So then I decided to come up with this idea that would not only let you turn it off like manually, but also have these automatic timers or auto shut off features. And also another thing I had to make was challenge that I had was to make it universal. It's currently still in development, but we're hoping to launch it pretty soon.
Yeah, so before I ask my next question, I was going to say, one great way to think of problems is to look around your life and know what problems you have. Yeah, just, well, in all seriousness, just looking around your house and seeing what issues you have is a great place to start. My second question for you, Sri, how far through are you with Ignis?
Yeah, so I finished CAD a few days ago. 3D printed the prototype, and currently I'm working on getting the electronics put together and coding it to actually put it inside my um, shell that I 3D printed in TPU, the rubber, so that it can be universal. I tested the actual 3D printed part. It fits on nicely. Just gotta put all the electronics together, and we should be ready to launch. If you guys
Yeah,
have problems
good.
with this, make sure to reach out to me. My email is in the channel description, and the website link to pre-order this is also going to be coming out soon. So keep your eye out for that. I think what this podcast is going to be about mostly is not how to code, but mm, how to build stuff while you're figuring it out. Like you don't have the idea, you have an inkling that you want, if that's a weird word to use, but you want to
Yeah,
make it something and you're just like figuring things out as you're going. So,
yeah.
all right, that's episode 1.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't get canceled. That's a good. Actually, I don't know about that, but I hope we didn't get canceled. That's a good start.
Yeah, low bar, low standards, but I guess that makes it easier to exceed those standards. Keep that in mind, guys. This is Compile After Class. We'll be back as long as our projects don't collapse first. Thank you for supporting us. Keep your eyes
Promises
out
on
for the
that.
next episode. Tune in and make sure you continue to follow our podcast. And well, thank you for watching this video here at my channel where we learn today and lead tomorrow. Thank you very much, and we hope you guys have a good day.
You guys later. Bye.